Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, what a week I have had, folks. I just want to share a little bit about my crazy life with you because so many of you write to me and send me notes and tell me, something that has happened in your life that I might want to know about, or something that I said affected your life. And it's been like that. But the last week has been kind of a crazy, crazy week. It all started off before I left on a trip, and I'm going to tell you all about the trip because I think it's fascinating. Anyway, before I left, we were doing a project here at Million Kids for foster kids. So if you don't know, this show is brought to you by an organization called millionkids.org, not .com, that's a rock band, millionkids.org. And it's called Million Kids because back when it started in 2008, there were 1 million kids around the world that were being trafficked, sex trafficked, labor trafficked, and like that. And our organization in the beginning focused really on educating people about sex trafficking here in Southern California. But of course, that crime has changed a lot over the years. And it's gone into things like sextortion and social media exploitation and things like gangs doing trafficking and like that. So our company, our organization's all about educating people, educating for prevention and educating for intervention. People contact us when they have a situation, a case, or something like that. Where a child may be being violated or may be in trouble because they've sent something online. And we are the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. So we'll often refer those on. There is a national hotline to actually report that. That number is 1-888-373-7888. And I'll try to remember to share that with you at the end of the show so that you'll have that. So a lot of what we've done over the last 15 years, 12 years here in the Inland Empire is about, preparing parents to understand if their kid is in trouble online and how their behavior might change and like that. We stopped counting long about training 500,000 people. I have no idea at this point how many we've trained. It could be around 750,000, but it really doesn't matter. Once you reach some point, none of that really matters. What matters is that kids do not get violated, and parents and young people understand how things like sex trafficking works in your community. And over the last 15 years, everything has changed so much. California has changed a lot. It started really changing in about 2016 when Proposition 57 passed. And it's been almost like a slide downhill ever since those laws started to go in effect. Legalizing street prostitution and has now passed. Not the street prostitution, but legalizing the luring to solicit for street prostitution. And when we passed the bill that allowed illegal pot grows to come in, we've seen an absolute onslaught of illegal pot grows. We passed the bill, and let me get that straight. I think I said that wrong. We passed a bill. I didn't vote for it, but other people did. That allowed people to do legal marijuana sales and legal marijuana growth. But the restrictions are so steep on it that they've developed an entire industry of illegal pot grow. And I see all these bills come through, and they end up absolutely going the opposite of what they're promising. The SB 357 bill, that's the one that law enforcement can no longer intervene if you're loitering to solicit for street prostitution. That is called the California Safer Streets Act. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy? That is exactly what is taking place. They rename this stuff. They convince the public to to vote that, you should be able to get out of prison early if you're a non-violent offender, but they don't tell you that there are very few violent offenses in the state of California. And child sex crimes is not one of them, by the way. And human trafficking is not considered a serious or violent offense. And it's a fascinating world that we live in. Well, where I'm going with this is that I, this week, went on the road. I went off to do speaking in some very interesting places, but it gave me a chance to kind of get out of my bunker, as they say, and actually go out and meet a lot of different people. And in some ways, it's very rewarding to do that. I've met some amazing people that are doing just spectacular work, excellent work. And yet, I have also had my eyes opened about how much the need is out there for more people to be able to understand what is happening and be able to come forward and do things. So a lot of things have happened. One of them, a friend of mine, that husband and wife, were simply getting ready to go out for dinner one night. And they had, the night before, they had seen someone in their small complex that they didn't recognize. It was caught on a Ring camera, and they were able to get rid of them. But then this night they're going out to dinner, and this guy appears behind their car. And my friend is all dressed up, and they went in the house to get a gun. Fortunately, they didn't use it because they chased him out of there. But they called the police as they were doing this, and fortunately, the police came quite quickly. This is in Riverside, so we're talking about Riverside PD, and those people are really my heroes. Chief Gonzalez over there, Ryan Railsback, so many of the people with Riverside Police Department are really fine people trying to do their best. They came out, they chased him down. This guy was loaded with weapons and guns and bullets and that kind of thing. It could have ended absolutely tragically. Now, I'm very, very proud of that. They called the police came and they got him, and there's one more person off the streets now that can cause harm. But as you know, I combat crime, and I'm watching the laws and how they're being watered down and actually working against the idea of, stopping the criminal and making them pay a price. You're really seeing a real movement in California, a trend of legislative bills that are literally choosing less accountability and less punishment. And in fact, bills that actually lighten the punishment for very serious crimes. And an effort by many good people to make the bills go through that would consider things like child sex crime or human trafficking a violent or serious crime. And it's just not happening that way. We have a whole lot of legislators up there that absolutely stonewall and block bills. This SB 357 that I talk about, it actually passed in the year 2021. And it was in October, and that bill was held on Senator Scott Wiener's desk for 9 months after it passed before it was ever forwarded to our governor, because they knew it was not going to be a popular bill. Nobody really wants to watch as people and women are brought in from across the nation by pimps and put up for sale on our streets, in front of schools, in front of your home, in front of businesses. And that's allowed to go on because of that bill. That bill was held for 9 months after it passed the recall election and the primary election. Governor Newsom quietly signed the bill, and you start seeing the results starting in January of this year. And that's exactly how it's happening, is because of the fact that this is something that literally is designed to make it so that we have street prostitution. California Safer Streets Act. How can your street be safer If you have people brought in from China, from Taiwan, from Cambodia, and put in massage parlors, you have pimps and gangs from all over the United States bringing in girls and putting them out on Figueroa Boulevard, down in San Diego, up in Oakland, and yes, here in Riverside, for sale, for sex in your community. This is crazy world that went upside down. And I look at it and I wonder what we can do different, but we got to try. My name is Opal Singleton. We're up against that break, so I'll be right back.
Are you tired of eating at the same old restaurants? Let me tell you about a fabulous Italian restaurant we found in Riverside, Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant. Their caprese salad is exquisite with candied balsamic glaze. All of their sauces are special recipes using only the best olive oils. The salads are fresh and healthy. They offer a wonderful array of pastas, including shrimp scampi, capellini, bolognese, and lasagna. They're famous for their gourmet pizza, and you can order online for takeout or have a special date for dining in with family and friends. Mamma Mia's caters special occasions and hosts private events. You have to try it out. Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant, located at 10971 Magnolia Avenue in Riverside, 1 block north of La Sierra on Magnolia. That's Mamma Mia's in Riverside. Be sure to tell Michael, Alex, or Joseph you heard it on AM 590 The Answer.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of millionkids.org. I believe the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. I'm talking about the crazy world of laws and crime in the state of California. I don't know about you, but I read about that operation down in Corona. A bunch of people came over here from LA. They had a stolen car and they rammed that car. They backed up a couple of times and rammed it into an electronics store down in Corona. And they kept ramming it until they got the store windows to absolutely come apart. And then out of nowhere, literally large groups of people with hidden faces and, clothing that you couldn't identify racing in there. Everybody apparently with a plan, coming with bags that they could carry electronics out. And apparently they took over $60,000 worth in under 3 minutes. It's a very organized kind of deal. And I watched things like that. And we saw one a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, where teenagers over in LA went into a gas station and just swarmed it over. And another young man about their age was working there. He was hiding in the bathroom for his own safety. And I say, where is this going? And, show me where any of the stuff that has happened is effective and is really taking place. Now, I have a tendency to blame all this on Proposition 57 just because I've charted this and I see the path that we're going down. And that is when we decided to let people who were committing nonviolent crimes out of prison early. Some of you have heard me talk about this, but somewhere along the line, as everybody was voting on that, somebody asked Governor Brown and Attorney General Kamala Harris at the time, now will this include sex crimes? Nobody really said one way or the other. Well, I doubt it. I mean, no, they knew good and well. They wrote the law, they wrote the bill. They're attorney general, they're the governor. If they don't know the answer, but they didn't want to face that. And then we come along and sure enough, sex offenders start suing California. And a judge said, I think you're right. You're being discriminated against. And now you have all these sex offenders that can get out early because they knew all along it was not going to exclude them. And that is exactly how all of this takes place. I've been working with a whole group of people that are trying to get bills through. We had a bill, SB 1024, that was shot down in legislation. I personally sat here and watched by Zoom as it was presented to the Public Safety Committee. Now, that's 5 people who control what happens in our state. 3 of them happen to be Democrats and 2 of them happen to be Republicans. These bills, by the way, are often created by Shannon Grove. She is out of Kern County, I believe, and she's a dynamite. I believe she's a senator. But you have some strong senators here in the Inland Empire. Roselia, I can never say her name right, Bogue. Strong senator that's doing things like that. Ober something out of San Bernardino. He's strong on it. And they will go out and they will pitch these bills and go through all the work that it takes to present them, knowing that they're going to hit a wall. But they keep going. And I'm very, very proud of them. SB 1024, had it passed, said that human trafficking would be considered violent and serious. If you don't have them classified, the crimes classified as violent and serious, then you can't have the 3 strikes law and you can't have enhanced sentencing. Now, we know that there's a huge movement throughout all of California to do away with any kind of enhanced sentencing so that they lessen the sentence and the accountability and the punishment for any of these crimes. And that is a lot of the reason why you're seeing such a major increase in crime. You had a whole movement to defund police. You have a movement to literally take away law enforcement's power and ability to go out and arrest the bad guy. We saw a lot of that in these laws where literally, SB 357 says law enforcement cannot intervene if you're lorting for street prostitution. There is a bill just to pass for prostitution trying to make its way through. But what happens in these sites and these senator hearings on SB 1024 that would have made human trafficking a violent and serious crime is that they had over 4,000 letters of support. They had 100 people who drove to Sacramento. They had 100 people waiting on the phone. And I watched this as Senator Weiner listened to a few of them, had the other 2 Democrats leave the room, and he called them back and said, I've heard enough, let's vote. And the 3 Democrats said, no, it's not going forward. And they never listened to it. That is the legislators that you have up there in Sacramento. And the challenge that we have of trying to get any kind of good bill through. Well, they didn't give up, Shannon Grove and Roselia Bogue, and they did not give up. They came back with SB 14. Now, last week, it finally got through the public hearing in the Safety Committee, and it was allowed to advance, but now it's got to get through the appropriations bill before phase before anybody can vote on it. And quite frankly, they can just shut it down without any comment or reasoning on it. Just say, nope, we don't need that bill. That comes up this week. I'm thoroughly expecting them to do away with it because there is no appetite in this state for continuing the prosecution of these really serious crimes. There was AB 229, Joe Patterson, violent felonies. They would have added human trafficking, rape of an unconscious person, or intoxicated victim, and domestic violence to the list of crimes that are classified as violent. I've seen these crimes. I've seen the victims of the crimes after the perpetrators have beat them and burned them and cut them and raped them. And, it is absolutely inhumane. If that cannot be considered a violent crime in the state of California, we are in some deep doo-doo, folks. This is scary business that we are even having to fight this fight. Well, that bill failed also. Joe Patterson put it through, and again, it didn't clear the Public Safety Committee, so it will not be considered under the California Three Strikes law. Just imagine those two bills that did not get cleared could have paved the way for the fact that when somebody goes out there and rapes you and sells your body and forces you into commercial sex, forces you into things that you don't want to do, that will change your life for the rest of your life, and it's not considered violent or serious. Folks, when do we get serious about crime? If that can happen to a human being in the state of California and nothing bad happens about it, where are we headed? We've seen what happens when you legalize marijuana, pot growing. We've seen what happens there because it didn't fix a thing. No, what happened there is suddenly you have all of these illegal pot grows growing up in your neighborhood. And they're right in tract housing areas. If you, by the way, I would ask you to keep an eye out for your neighborhood. Know who lives on your block. Know what's happening up and down the street. Is that occupied by a regular family? Or is it being used for a drop house as smugglers and coyotes and cartels are bringing in people and hiding them in houses until they move them on? And yes, they choose just regular houses in regular neighborhoods. Same kind of thing that is happening where literally Chinese cartels are bringing in Chinese people, and that is not a statement against Chinese people. I know a lot of them that are very, very fine people, but these people are being abused. They're brought in and they think they're going to have a regular life, and the next thing you know, they are on an illegal pot grow and they're being trafficked. Some of them are being violated sexually, and others of them are being forced to work long hours day and night and not getting paid. Anytime you have this kind of criminal activity, you're going to see people brought in and be violated along with it. So keep an eye out in your neighborhood. If you see something that you think is odd, that people aren't living in the house, that they're coming and going odd hours, the windows are always shut, call the police. Don't be afraid to call the police. Don't wait and call code enforcement. You can report so that that can be investigated. This is Hopeful Singleton. Thanks for listening to us. We're up against that break, so stay with us.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting our work, especially this last week. You did such an amazing job. Project isn't over yet, but many of you may know that we did a project. The church I go to did the actual project, and I decided that I wanted Million Kids to participate in it. Sometimes it's very hard to find out how to get goods into foster kids. You know that they need it. You know that they want the same thing all the rest of us have, and that is a life with a family and a safety and inclusion and all the things that you want, we want, they want. And so what we started doing with Million Kids in the last couple of weeks is asking people to donate $50 for the foster kid program. And we've gotten quite a bit of response on it. And I will tell you, I had a really great time. It was very invigorating for me. I spend my days combating crime, dealing with legislation, dealing with real cases, educating corporations and law enforcement and schools and like that. And so I was able to take the donated money and I went out and we bought I think it was 14 sets so far, and we're not through yet. You can still donate for it, by the way. But these are bedding for foster kids, either, for their first night that they're going to be there. I think that if there's ever anything you could do for a foster kid would be to give them something special in bedding, because they don't want to be there. They're scared. They don't know where they're going. And if you can give them some fancy bedding, and maybe a stuffed animal or a pillow to go with it, what an opportunity to give them a chance to hide out in something safe. And the other parts of it is some of these foster kids are aging out and starting to leave high school and go out and get their own apartments. So we did some of both. We did a whole bunch of little kids, dinosaurs and rabbits and flowers of all kinds. And then we did some bigger kids stuff that, some stripes, some plaid, some interesting things. Oh, we did a Spider-Man one too. That was really cool. Anyway, we do a comforter and a set of sheets and a pillow sham and a free pillow. And all of this is all new. And then some decorator thing. And then we gave them the Million Kids Challenge coin. If you don't know that, we sell these challenge coins online. They make great gifts, by the way. Grandmas and grandpas, you want to give a gift to a grandchild that you want them to remember you forever, get them a Million Kids Challenge coin. On one side, they say, I believe in you. And on the other side, they say, stand tall, you are loved. And that is a challenge coin that will last a lifetime. And we sell them online for $25, and they make great gifts. And I myself send them out for what it's worth. But anyway, it was just so much fun to do something positive for these kids and go out and buy them and put together in a kit with a challenge coin and let them know that somebody cares for them. The only difference between me and a foster kid is I had a core relationship with my family. I knew I was part of a family. And I'm going to tell you, that's one of the most important gifts you can give to your family and to your kids and your grandkids. Let them know that you are proud of them to be part of your family lineage. Share with them a little bit about your background with your family. I know it seems corny, but kids want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and they want inclusion. They want acceptance. They want to be proud of who we are. And I think we've lost a lot in our society by being able to, turning everything into whether it's race or gender or, all the other things that happened in life and things that happened in the past that we can't change. What we can do, though, is make our kids proud of the family that they're part of. And I think that's an important dialogue for you to have. That's one of the reasons I created the I Believe in You coin. I want kids to know. I realized that kids are easy to seduce online and easy to seduce through sex trafficking because they want somebody who believes in them. That's what a pimp is selling a girl, by the way. I believe in you, baby. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to take care of you. Well, let's get there first and let our kids know how proud we are of them and how much we believe in them. And that, I believe, is one of the greatest gifts we can give. I feel bad as I've gone on this trip this last week, and I see all the crime that is up and down our state. I feel bad that this is the legacy that we're leaving the next generation of Californians, that there is so many challenges now that we didn't have even 5 years ago or 10 years ago, before all of this began. I remember it wasn't very long ago that to be homeless was a rarity. It was a real rarity because we looked out for each other. But now, people are shipping people to California. The good people are running out and they're shipping people in, like pimps are bringing in girls because we now allow prostitution. And they're bringing in people from out of the country so that they can do illegal pot grows and so that they can do prostitution. And it's all about violating people in our state to send that money back to China, back to Mexico, back to Russia. And it is an interesting thing that is happening. I think that it's important that we sit down with our kids and we get back to basics and talk about who we are and our family lineage. And that every time you do something good and what is right, instead of something that is evil or gives you a quick result, you build character. And all this stuff about doing away with the punishment and lightening up the sentencing and letting people out early and literally condoning crime in our community, not enforcing the laws. As most of you know, that's one of my big beefs. It is illegal to cross the border without documentation. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not against the people that are involved in it. I know a bunch of them, and they're really fine people. But the minute you quit enforcing laws, then you are opening the door for all kinds of crime. And it's already reached proportions that it is hard to comprehend. This week, I did a speaking tour up to some really interesting places like Oildale, California. Oh my gosh. It's like walking the streets of, I don't think I can say that word online, but it's full of crime. I mean, everywhere you go is graffiti, drugs, needles, prostitution. And even the people that I support and work up there, I'm training some people about human trafficking up there. Even those people won't live in that area because they don't want to have that happen to their children. And so they live out of the area and drive in each day. But I look at that town and I say, this is exactly where all of California is headed. When you no longer enforce laws, when you invite people in and allow them to conduct crimes without paying a price for that, your city is going to be abandoned just to the criminals at that point. Nobody wants to live in that environment. And yet we continue to put people in office that vote for literally laws, won't even allow us to present laws that might hold somebody accountable, that might consider rape and child sex offenses as violent and serious crime. You say to yourself, if we cannot consider child sex offenses violent and serious, What kind of society are we? That is the most vulnerable people out there. Yes, we can do what we do about doing the foster kids program. And I hope you'll consider, by the way, if you want to donate to that program, go to meandkids.org and hit it and hit donate and just say you want the foster kid program. And I will go buy the stuff for you. Okay. I've kind of worked out many of the places where I can get good buys and use my coupons and make that happen. Let's offset the evil with good. Let's support these kids that need us, that don't have that foundation. And let's give them choices that are good choices that can help them grow up to be strong citizens, even if they don't have the family dynamics that the rest of us took for granted and have in our place. So you can do that if you want. But I want to just also share with you that I am very concerned about the path that California is going down with these laws. When SB 14, we need that bill, and I'm hoping and praying that this week the Appropriations Committee will allow that bill to be considered by our congressman. This is Opal Singleton. We are up against that break again, so stick with us. Be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, I want to take a minute and say thank you to all the people that I have met over the last month or so. For whatever reason, it seems like I met more of you in public than I normally do. And you make fun of me, I think, or maybe you don't mean it to make fun of me, but it's amazing to me the number of people that come up to me and go, I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Of course, it's my voice. I can't hear it. My ears are in the way. But I'm thinking, God, I must sound strange. But, you're just delightful people. The people that listen to this show and share it with others and follow us and buy our books and buy our challenge coins and help fight against these bills and like that. And I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you that follow this show and get involved. We're a local community. I want to also give you my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion. Nobody knows I'm about to say this. But I also, having gone up and traveled through several counties over the last 6 days and speaking, I spoke in where did I even start? I don't remember. Lompoc, and went over to Rosamond, and then Oildale and Bakersfield, and I know, who did I tick off, huh? But there are areas where they need the education, where the people that are out doing the work need to have this information. Then I was very privileged to speak at the statewide conference for child welfare attendance officers. What an amazing group of people. We hear all the bad stuff about schools, but these are the truancy officers in schools, and they're the first to see when a child is getting in trouble because they start missing school. And they're also the first to see what happens with unaccompanied minors as they're placed in schools. And many unaccompanied minors are in danger even after they join school because, somebody may want money from them. They may owe money. The whole family may owe money to a coyote, and they're really not always safe, even though they're here. That doesn't make them safe on our soil. So after that, then I went over to SLO, San Luis Obispo, and really love Dan Dow and the district attorney over there and the Human Trafficking Task Force. I was involved in helping start it, and 8 years ago, and they've done a tremendous job. I've actually spoken at quite a few human trafficking task forces as they've started, and it's very, very inspiring. But one of the things that I have seen as I've done all this is that it is a major concern to me when I see how much takes place when law enforcement is not supported both emotionally and financially, when prosecutors are not supported by their community, when in fact there's a pushback, or you have a prosecutor or a law enforcement that is not willing to do the hard work. And it just brings me back to Riverside and San Bernardino. Very, very proud of our sheriffs in both counties. They literally put their lives on the line. And lately, it seems like we've lost too many of them of late to a variety of things. But they're in high, high danger out there. It's hard to recruit because it's very dangerous work. And there's such an attitude in California that we have to protect ourselves from law enforcement. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you, my friend that I started the show with that was just nearly attacked in their driveway is extremely grateful for Riverside Police Department. And, I, for one, am very proud of our sheriff, our prosecutors, our district attorney. There's a lot of smack going on out there about it because it's getting nearer and nearer election time. Here we go again, But it's an interesting thing because when you get law enforcement that's willing to enforce the law, now I will say they got an uphill battle because California is very busy making it so that they hardly can enforce the law. I look at this SB 357 and it says they can't intervene, even though she's out there in 5-inch heels and a G-string and some pasties. They can't intervene. Leaned over a car, they see it. They know what's happening, but that law enforcement says they can't intervene. I worry about our children, our 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, especially these foster kids and runaway and homeless kids that get out there. And, you can't tell the difference between a 16-year-old girl and a 19-year-old girl when she's all made up and in 5-inch heels. And if you can't intervene, how are you going to help protect the young kids who get caught up in this kind of thing? None of it makes sense to me. I am here to say that I support Riverside and San Bernardino, the sheriffs, the DAs, the prosecutors, and I am proud that they're willing to put their life on the line. We're playing for keeps here, folks. This is a train headed down the wrong track in the state of California. As I've gone off to these other towns and see what happens when prosecutors don't prosecute, when laws are not enforced, when penalties are not added on, when crime is not taken seriously, and when obvious crimes such as child sex crimes are not considered serious or violent, I say to myself, we're headed down a really scary road. And I think we just got started. This is only May. That one law has only been in effect now for 4 months, maybe 4.5. And we're already seeing, people being brought in. You may ask, why on earth did they pass that law? What's that all about? Well, their statement is that law enforcement sees a young lady out there in high heels and scantily dressed, leaned over a car, and they start to investigate them from prostitution. And they're saying that too many of those people are people of color or transgender. And so we have to protect them from law enforcement. Okay, I get that. And there were other ways to protect them, okay? Help them get that off their record, help them get services and like that. But who is going to protect those people from pimps and gangs and cartels that are bringing in girls from all over the United States to make money in California? People from Southeast Asia being brought in, being sold into massage parlors. I'm going to ask you folks to keep your eyes out. You see a massage parlor that isn't got a regular menu of stuff. They don't open till noon and they stay open till midnight, and they're only male clientele. Call it into your police department. You have a house in your neighborhood that is constantly all closed up. You don't know anything about them. The people keep to themselves. The windows are closed. People may come in late at night, leave early. Maybe they have a van. Don't be afraid to mention something. You can make a difference. It might be a stash house where they're hiding people against their will, some of your undocumented people that are being held, or it could be an illegal pod grow. And especially if all the windows are closed and like that. Believe it or not, these are taking place in average neighborhoods. So pay attention to what goes on in your neighborhood. Take houses on say 6 houses on each side of you. Now, you don't have to get in their business, okay? You don't need to do that. But you can watch and you can pay attention. And if you see something unusual, you can report that. That happened in the Wynette case where that young girl was being catfished by a guy back east, and a neighbor was able to capture the license plate of an unfamiliar car. He went in and killed the family and kidnapped the girl. And thank God for that neighbor that took that photograph of that license plate. So there's a lot we can't do, but there's plenty we can do. And for us to turn and look the other way is not acceptable. We can help foster kids. We can learn about sex trafficking and social media exploitation and how to prevent it. We can learn how to talk to our kids and talk about what's right. I think if there's ever a time in our life to get back to the basics, it's exactly right now. So there are many things we can do, and we can be careful who we vote for. If you're interested in following legislation, we often post it at millionkids.org, and you can pay attention to it. You can always call your senator. You can fight against it or fight for it, whichever one you want to do. But I'm asking you to pay attention and get involved. Be an aware citizen. We can no longer say, oh, golly, this is awful, and put a blinder over our eyes and hope this fixes itself. California is not going to fix itself unless we stand up and make a difference on our commitment. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is brought to you by Million Kids. We are all about family and loving each other, supporting each other, finding the good in each other. I would encourage you this week, folks, to stop and put your arms around your spouse and let them know how proud you are of them. Look at your kids and let them know you're there for them. You think they're champions and you're going to show them the right way to do what's right each time. End of show, folks. See you next week, 3 o'clock.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.